Hello. Can you hear me?
Oh, hey.
Hi.
Oh, you're like, your volume was like super low.
Can you hear me now?
Very, very softly, but that's okay. I can still hear you.
Okay.
That's okay. Don't worry. So what are we doing today?
So I have a practice exam. Here, let me see if I can turn my headphones off and turn back on, see if that helps the
Okay.
microphone.
I feel like 100% on my end.
Sorry.
Oh yeah. Oh, much better.
Okay, let me see if I turn my headphones back on. If they'll pick up the speaker.
You're muted.
Oh. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So I have a practice problems for the test.
Okay.
That we can go through. Here, I'll share my screen. Oh, I can't share my screen.
Oh, just kidding. Okay. You should be able to. Are you taking pills with coffee?
Yeah. My water bottle is empty. I was up here and I thought it had water in it.
Oh goodness. I do that too, but that's no good.
I forgot to take. So I started this new medicine for my arthritis, and I don't have to take it with food, but it's better if you do. And I forgot to take it with breakfast, so I just ate lunch, and I got coffee because I was tired, and I thought there's water up here at my desk because I keep it in a swell so it stays cold for like 24 hours, or at least it's supposed to. And I thought there's water up here, and there wasn't water up here. So I messed up. But I need to take it with my food. Okay.
Okay, I'm assuming LDD, that's like something from your book, from your class.
Sorry, what did you say?
This.
Yeah. I think.
Okay, let's do the problems.
You want to start with number 2 or
I don't know what VB theory is.
Valence bond.
Is he talking about molecular orbitals? S, like this stuff?
No. So he like talked about it, but he said he's not going to test us on that.
He's not going to test you on this?
No.
So then what is sigma SS bond? What is he talking about?
I think the shape of the bond.
Like this SS coming together, you create this?
I think so.
Okay.
I have the answer key, so we can check, but.
Okay, and then is this the PP bond that he's talking about, which is pi?
I think so.
Okay. Okay, well then that's it. The other one for sigma bonds, remember we talked about this? SS creates this, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is SP. This is PP. Okay. Now consider the molecule of N2. Specifically describe how each of the nitrogen's p orbitals is involved in the bonding. N2, can I erase this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, N2, you know it's a triple bond. Well, first of all, we're going to have SS's, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to have the P's. Actually, though, it's not even going to look like that. It's going to be PP. And then it's going to be this P, which is a conjugation. So it's a pi bond. And then it's going to be a P bond like this, which is also a pi bond. That's what they're asking for X, Y, and Z.
Okay.
So that's why you have, that's a sigma, that's a pi, and that's a pi bond.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's so since it's a triple bond, for this type of problem, all I have to do is identify the layers of the bond, I guess, and then draw the orbitals out.
Yeah.
For those. Okay.
And then for number 4. What is the rate law for this reaction? Well, based on this, what order is this?
Oh, that's first order.
First order, right? So then your rate law is going to be rate is equal to K H2O2 to the first order, right?
Yeah.
Good. Now, how do you find rate constant?
You have to plug it into the equation.
But you don't have information. You don't have rate, and you don't have concentration.
Is it the slope?
Yes. Because the slope, remember, is negative K, and they gave you the slope. So would this rate constant be the same at 87 degrees?
Yeah. Wouldn't it? Oh, was that room temp? Well,
This
I
is
don't know.
at room temperature.
Yeah.
I don't think the constant is going to be the same. Constant can only change with temperature.
Okay. So it probably wouldn't.
Yeah. Okay, what about the half-life of hydrogen peroxide in hours? Do you remember the formula for half-life?
Half-life equals point. Is it 693 over K?
And you just plug in the K, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So if the starting concentration of H2O2 is 0.75 molarity, how long will it take for the concentration to decrease to 0.1? So what equation would you use for this? One second. My hands are super dry. I'll be right back. But what would you use? What would you use for concentration? I mean, what formula would you use for this?
The integrated rate law?
Correct. Okay. And you can solve for it, right?
Mm-hmm. Sorry, I'm gonna figure out the half-life question.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna plug it in.
Sorry.
So it's 38,500 seconds
Yeah.
is the half-life.
Did you get it?
Yeah, I got 111,810 seconds, but I also got 31 hours.
Okay. I think that's just a matter of you like plugging in the decimals or carrying the decimals through or not.
Okay.
Let's try B. Okay, so these are the two-step mechanisms. Molecularity of the first one is 2, right? Because there's 2 reactants.
Mhm.
And then this is also 2 because there's 2 reactants. What is the overall balanced reaction from this mechanism? Is that what you got for the balanced reaction?
Yeah, that's what I got.
And what is the role of NOBr2 in this reaction? It is being made and then consumed.
Okay. So it's going from being a product to a reactant.
So is it an intermediate or is it a catalyst?
It's an intermediate.
It's an intermediate, good. So what rate law would you predict if K1 is much, much, much slower than K2? This would be the rate determining step, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I would actually just use the reactants of step 1 in my rate law, right? Good.
So the slower reaction is the rate determining step.
The slow reaction is always a rate determining step. Just think of it as an assembly line. Sorry, so think of it as an assembly line and think of it like someone is, washing the dishes, someone is drying them, and someone is, putting them back in the cabinets, right? So if the person who's washing the dishes is the slowest step, it doesn't matter how fast the next steps are. At the end of the day, it's all going to depend on how slow the person is washing the dishes, right?
Mm-hmm. And so wait, how did you figure out that it was first order?
Oh, we use coefficients.
Oh, so there's no since there's no coefficients.
Yes.
Well, no, there's a coefficient of 1, but
Yes. So the coefficients are always going to be the order numbers for mechanism steps.
So since there's one intermediate, there'll be 2 transition states.
Yes.
Okay.
Does this kind of make sense?
The problem?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
I don't understand 7 because he crossed out 6. I guess he just wants us to use that rate that he crossed through.
I think he just wants us to draw out this. Oh, that's really bad.
Just like what the graph would look like.
Yeah.
Okay.
So your intermediate step would be NOBR, right?
Yeah. So I should label that.
Yeah.
To be clear. Okay. Okay. Let's see what's going on. Oh, and then Vesper.
Okay, so these ones, we would just have to draw the Lewis dot diagrams first.
Okay. The little drop down keeps messing up my Google program. Oh. So wait, quick question about number 2.
Yeah.
Never mind. I answered my own. Never mind. I was gonna say, is there an unpaired electrons? I was like, it adds up to 17, and then I went, wait, no, it has a negative charge, so there's an extra, so it's all good.
Hmm.
Yeah. Oh, there's one. Oh, there's one. Oh, and there's one. What does it want us to do? Geometry.
So I think now you're supposed to draw the, oh, how are you supposed to draw them with wedges and dots?
Oh, if it's like pointing forwards or backwards. We haven't done that though. Like I know what it is.
Yeah, I don't
mention it.
do them with these here. Because they're all 2D.
Yeah, I think it's like I don't know. Come on. I'm just gonna pull up the table. I'll move it towards the center. I think some of these have wedges and dashes.
Oh, in that sense?
I think so, but like he hasn't had us do it.
Okay.
Like I know what it like the like I know what it means,
Yeah.
and like I think I could do it based off of this table.
Yeah.
But I don't know why all of a sudden he like during one of his pre-recorded lecture videos he explained it, but then like in in-person class we've never done it.
Okay.
So
This one you cannot do. This one you cannot do.
yeah.
This one you cannot do. Everything else we can. So we can actually just.
Because the double bonds won't.
Mm-hmm.
Double bonds make it tricky. Yeah, I can.
I think they're going to. Okay. Nope.
Okay.
So did they
So
just declare the president?
honestly, I have no idea what's going on. I've been getting alerts this morning that they said that Biden won Pennsylvania, but or CNN said Biden won Pennsylvania, but I honestly don't know what's going on. It's such a hot mess.
It really is. How do you? So someone was saying something about how like all the mail-in ballots, not a single one was for Republican. Like, how do you have tens and thousands of mail-in ballots where not a single one voted for a Republican, for the Republican Party? You know what I mean? Like, probability, that makes no sense.
I'm personally really surprised that he got more votes than Obama did.
Who, Biden?
Yeah.
Well,
I'm kind of surprised about that.
Well, they did say something about how like this year there was a lot more voters, like a
there's more mail-in voters than any other year.
yeah. But then also, I understand that with the pandemic and stuff, they were trying to make it like mail-in votes. How is it possible that not a single mail-in vote was for Trump? Like, it makes no sense.
I think I was like talking with someone last night, and I was saying like, well, we were talking about how like we're thankful that like inauguration isn't like until January.
Yeah.
Because it's gonna go through the
Supreme Court.
courts. It's
Yeah.
it's gonna be a hot second before we have a 100% definitive answer, and it won't be up until inauguration.
I don't think so.
I think without the pandemic, this election would be messy, but the pandemic has just made it worse. I was saying I'd rather have 2016 all over again because at least we knew in the morning.
Yeah.
Like we all like I remember I went to bed thinking Clinton was winning. I'm like, okay. And then we woke up in the morning, I'm like, it was a total 180. And I got to school and everyone was like, Lindsay, she didn't win. I'm like, what? I was so confused. Like I totally like was convinced, and like I was a junior in high school. I don't watch the freaking news in the morning. I just got up and I had to be at school at 7:40
Go to school.
in the morning. I went to school at 7:40 in the morning, which is pretty early.
Oh.
And I rolled out of bed and I drove to school. So it was like I'd rather have that like messy election than this one, which is even worse.
Yeah. I don't know. I think either way, not saying one party is better than the other, but either way, there needs to be some type of reform with this voting thing.
No, I was like, I think just the absentee ballots, just a high number. It's like I understand like early voting to like stagger it if you don't want to go in on election day. That's what I did. I did vote on election day. I voted like a week before. Also, like Tuesdays would have been rough for me because that's my big class day. I would have had to go in at like 6 a.m. And I still had to wait for an hour to vote, even when I went in like a week before. But it's like, and also accepting like the mail-in votes after like up until like November 10th. Wednesdays accepting if it's post stamped November 3rd, they're accepting ballots in the mail up until November 10th. I had someone saying like if you're clearly an adult if you're voting, and if you can get like your electrical bill and like you've maybe apply to college, if you can get like those stuff mailed in on time, and you know about the election 4 years in advance, you can't get your mail-in ballot in on time. I think the mail-in ballot process needs help, especially with like the
pandemic. It really does. I don't know if you watch Fox News, but on Fox News they were saying something about how we have, and I'm not saying Fox News is the right outlet either, but
they get stuff. Every news station gets stuff wrong.
Yeah, it's like every news station is pro somebody, But Fox had a good point. They said, what did they say? They said like we live in a country where Apple was invented, Google, Microsoft was invented, and how is it possible that the voter system is so archaic?
Yeah, and like also the U.S. Postal Service like loses money every year. Yeah, it's like the Postal Service isn't like the best, and then if you're like relying on it basically for an election, it's like it's not a good like the mail-in ballots aren't exactly the best way to vote. because it's like you're putting your like say into someone else's hands to make sure it gets where it's supposed to go and not to be tampered with. And then also just the mass amount of ballots going through the U.S. Postal Service this year. It's going to be another like month, I think, until at least, except the holidays and the courts.
Yeah, it's gonna go through the courts. There's no way that this is going to stop.
And it has to go through the state, then the federal, and then it's going to go all the way up to the Supreme Court.
It really is.
It's going to be a whole fiasco.
And apparently there were like some post office like mailman person that got arrested trying to escape to Canada with some mail-in votes. I don't even understand how that's even possible.
I forget what state this was, but I want to say it was Michigan. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
If it was Michigan.
Yeah.
I think it was back in October. They found ballots from military personnel in a dumpster, like mail-in ballots in a dumpster.
That's what they were saying, and I just don't understand how that's even possible.
It's just like the postal system just is flawed in general, and one of my friends did a mail-in ballot for North Carolina, and I had to like sign off saying like I witnessed it or whatever, and she did it like Friday before the election. I'm like, this is not going to get there in time.
Yeah, and they were
she did it last Friday.
It's crazy. It's really crazy. There needs to be a better system. I don't know.
I had someone saying like, why isn't
it too early to celebrate or to mope?
No, yeah, Trump kind of jumped the gun Tuesday night, I feel like, saying he was winning.
Yeah.
And then
but we knew that was
like,
going to
everyone
happen.
go to bed. What?
I know. But we knew that was going to happen. And I feel so bad for Pence because Trump was like, yeah, we're winning. You know, like, and the Democrats were lying to us. And then poor Pence, he comes out.
He's like not really talking. He's kind of just chilling, I feel like.
I know. He's like, well, what the president was trying to say.
He's like, well, I mean, that's why Trump picked him. I feel like, because he's like, he is a politician. Trump's not a politician.
Yeah, but Trump isn't a politician. And that's the problem with the American public. Like, I feel like if you are really a liberal, like, you need to give everyone equal chances. And I don't think as liberals, we gave Trump an equal chance.
Yeah,
I think people were already very prejudiced the second he stepped into office. And I get it. He's not the most politically correct person.
No, he's not.
But we also have to understand, like, he was in business his whole life, 70 plus years, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's just trying to do his job. He's not getting a single penny for being the president of the
United States. No, he's lost net worth while in office.
Yeah.
And that's what people don't understand. Like,
to be honest, I'm pro Trump just because of his foreign policies, because I'm Korean, and a lot of Koreans actually, not so much the younger generation, but definitely the older generation or the adult generation, because Trump was the only one, not just Trump, but the Republican Party was the only one that was handling China, which is handling North Korea.
Yeah.
That was one of the reasons why a lot of South Koreans did not vote for Biden. We all ended up voting for Trump.
Yeah.
No, where did our ballots go?
I voted for him. My best friend, she's half Korean. Her mom immigrated when she was like 8 to the United States. She was adopted by a military family. They lived down in Virginia Beach. And her dad's Marine police officer, so he like catches poachers and stuff. He's not like a city cop. No, but they all voted for him too.
Yeah, everyone in Koreatown, which is 500,000 Koreans just in California, even if it means like half of us voted, like that's 250,000 Koreans voting for Trump. Where did all those ballots go?
Yeah, I was reading somewhere, and it's like all these swing states. If you look at like the Senate seats, I think the only exception is Georgia. It's like none of the seats in the Senate flipped. So if all these people going like same party Senate and presidential picks, wouldn't the Senate seats flip also?
Yeah, it made no sense. It actually made no sense whatsoever. So I think it's really going to go to the Supreme Court. And
Yeah, that's why I'm like, all my friends are like, no. One of my friends was like, yeah, but they're gonna announce Biden won. She said yesterday. I'm like, literally, they might say that, but it won't be up until inauguration.
So my brother is a law student, and he was a political science major in college. So he's like a political science geek, and he was telling me that basically this was all kind of planned out. That this was a way for Trump to solidify his election if he ends up winning by going to Supreme Court, so that the Democratic Party can't say anything to him later and overturn it.
Well, yeah, no, and then people that were saying like he couldn't. I thought it was funny how people were like saying like he shouldn't appoint anybody to the Supreme Court this year.
Yeah,
it was like
it's like the stars aligned for him for that.
And that's why like I have a love-hate relationship with politics. I think they're so interesting.
Yeah, same.
And like I follow them because I want to like keep up and not be in the dark.
Yeah.
But then also when it gets so complicated and messy like this and everybody just starts arguing, I'm like, just like shut up and let them figure it out.
It really is. It really is. It's
like I want it to go to the courts at this point so we can have a definitive answer one way.
Yeah, for sure. But
like,
the funny thing is, like, Florida too, a lot of Cubans and Venezuelans, they voted for Trump over, that's why it flipped.
He won Florida by he won Florida by a larger margin than in 2016.
Yeah, exactly. And so Florida, the Venezuelans and Cubans, they know what communistic and socialistic politics is like. And so that's why they voted for Trump, because the Democratic Party is going towards that direction. And that's one of the reasons why a lot of people didn't vote for Biden, at least the immigrants. And it was just interesting to see how, like, swing states ended up voting for Biden when there's a large population of Latinos and other immigrants. Indians, too, they all voted for. Like, I was talking to my friend who's an Indian, and she said, like, we all voted for Trump.
There's an interesting...
It's like, where did all these ballots go?
There's an interesting graph for Michigan, I think, or Wisconsin, where in the middle of the night,
it just like...
It might have been Wisconsin. It just jumped like a straight vertical.
I wouldn't be surprised. That's why they were just saying so it made
no sense. They were like following like a trend line, right? And then in the middle of the night, like at 2 a.m., it like the blue
just
line
like
just went
up, right,
vertical, and it was like right above it.
Yeah,
I've seen it so many times. It was Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota. It was one of the first.
A lot of this like swing states, like it all, like this flip happened in the middle of the night, and during the day, they're like, we're stopping count. We're stopping. Why are you stopping count in the middle of the day?
And Nevada needs to get their crap together.
Nevada has to get their crap together.
And also, I don't know why they haven't called Alaska.
Yeah.
They haven't called Alaska yet. I'm really confused. But
wait, which way did Alaska swing?
Oh, Alaska is like 60-30 for Trump, but they've like only counted like 50% of their votes, and they haven't like called it. They haven't finished counting their votes. It's If I can spell.
That made no sense.
It's like, yeah, it's only 56% reporting in Alaska right now.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm really confused. What's going on with Alaska? It's only there are only like 3 electoral votes in Alaska, but I think I'm like, are they bringing the votes in on sled dogs? What's going on? I'm like,
They probably are.
They're frozen solid.
I'm just so confused about Arizona.
Oh yeah, because it flipped.
Yeah.
And also, I just like the thing about like the Senate is still so even. Like if you think like there's such a large, if you think the swing states, like if the states flipped
a lot
red to
of
blue,
these,
the Senate seat should have flipped also.
yeah, it didn't flip, which makes no sense.
And the Michigan software turned 6,000 votes for Trump to for votes for Biden in a software glitch in like one county. And that software is used in every single swing state.
There was a time where Wisconsin had 101 ballots, 1% ballots. How do you have 101%? And then they like fixed it. How do you do that? Like, how do you have over 100%?
I don't understand. It's so messed up. I just think they just need to like every state where there wasn't like a clear margin.
Yeah.
They should recount and go through it with a fine-tooth comb and like
that's what they were saying.
Solidify. I think we just need to have definitive answer one way or the other, so there's no doubt.
Yeah.
Like I don't care like if it goes if I don't care if like Biden or Trump win based on a clear definitive answer.
And that's what they were saying. They were saying like Texas too at the very end, like at the very like the southern part of Texas, it is the most highly populated Latino community out of all counties here in America. It's like 98, 99 percentile Latinos, right? They all voted for Trump. So who's to say that the minorities were the ones voting for Biden? Like it makes no sense. And then that leaves the whites. And are you saying that all the whites voted for Biden? Like that makes no sense.
I think like, well, white men usually lean right and white women usually lean left, but like still the majority.
But still, that's 50
the base
votes.
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
It's like they just need to like. I think they just need to, since it's a particularly weird year, they just need to look at it again.
Yeah.
And everywhere like today is saying that like Biden's won. I'm like, it's not over.
This
like,
is going to.
He might.
Biden really wins. This is really going to affect South Korea because right now the South Korean president is a puppet for China, and if Biden wins, Biden is going to help China become more powerful. And if China becomes more powerful, then North Korea will become more powerful and South Korea won't be able to do anything. And so right now, like the big conglomerate corporates like Samsung, LG, Hyundai, like all of these big conglomerates are actually trying to leave South Korea. So they were just all waiting for the American election to happen. And based on that, they were going to move headquarters. So Samsung was actually going to move to America, the headquarters.
Yeah.
But because the election hadn't happened, they started to slowly move headquarters to Vietnam for the interim. And then ultimately, they're going to try to move headquarters to America. That's going to be a ton of jobs here in America, a ton. Because Samsung was basically like the Korean GDP equals Samsung GDP.
Yeah.
Like literally everyone in South Korea works for Samsung.
Yeah.
And if Biden wins and China becomes powerful and Samsung is being like pushed away from South Korea, then South Korea is gonna become one of the poorest countries in the world,
Mhm.
which makes no sense. I don't know.
So so I play tennis, and my coach is from Greece. He immigrated like 4 years ago, and he brought his family over like 2 years ago, and he's like, he doesn't want he did not want Biden to get elected.
That's what I'm saying. A lot of immigrants, especially those who fled due to political whatever, they all voted for because we know how hard it is to live in a corrupted country.
And he was like asking me like why are there so many mail-in ballots, like, and he was asking me like how, like, when you vote in person, how does it work? I'm like, it's like you fill it out and it just gets sent into like a machine that locks it up. And he was like saying like he doesn't trust the mail-in system.
So someone was saying, this is a conspiracy theorist, but someone was saying that this coronavirus thing was planned.
Okay, I had that thought last night.
Election. Huh?
I didn't read that anywhere, but I was like shower thoughts. I was like, I wonder if this is like on purpose.
Yeah, a conspiracy theorist was saying this. I don't want to admit to it, but it's almost too perfect.
The one thing I've learned is that there's never such thing as a coincidence.
Yeah,
there's never such thing.
Perfect.
I don't think, personally, one way or the other, I don't think the coronavirus happened naturally.
It didn't happen naturally. It was, and it's no coincidence that it happened in China.
Yeah. No, I totally agree.
Because we had other viruses. We had Zika virus that was in Brazil. We had SARS that was in, like, I don't remember.
And the swine flu.
Thailand or something. Yeah.
It's under the Obama administration. Even Obama even said like they got lucky that it wasn't swine flu. He said the swine flu wasn't as bad as it could have been.
Yeah.
And he said that they weren't prepared.
We had swine flu. We had Ebola, remember?
Mm-hmm.
We had Zika virus. We had MERS. We had more than one swine flu. We had like 2 incidents of swine flu.
I remember my mom, when she went out and bought masks when swine flu happened, just in case.
Yeah. It's crazy. So I don't think this was a coincidence. I don't think this was 100% a coincidence. I think there must have, I don't know. I don't want to think about it that way, but it's sad. And they were saying something about how like Microsoft and Facebook and Apple and Google, they are trying to make, they're trying to wire like the country, kind of like you wire your homes and make it into smart houses. So they're trying to wire it, and they want to basically create an AI system. And this system, basically, in order for the system to work, like you need to decrease the population size.
Oh God.
Over and above the capacity.
That's insane.
Why the coronavirus happened. I don't know. There's like a lot of conspiracy theories out there, but I don't think theories like that come from nothing, you know?
Yeah,
I don't want to believe.
I think it's good to question everything.
Yeah.
I think it's good. It's like, it might be so far-fetched, but it's good to question, not just follow.
Yeah, exactly. Like, why are we even thinking about such possibilities?
Like, I think it's like, maybe it's not true, but it's good to like, at least like, think.
Yeah, I don't want to think that it's true, but the fact that it's even a possibility, it's scary to think about.
Yeah.
I don't know. But you're right. I think it's going to go to the Supreme Court, and they're going to make the final decision there. It makes no sense.
I just want, as long as there's like a straightforward answer and everything is double checked, given the circumstances of this election, I'll be fine. Just the uncertainty about it, it's just making me very uneasy.
Yeah. And the whole LGBT community, I get it. And I understand you do have to fight for your rights, and no one should be like judging you for your sexuality, but that's just a minority. It's scary to think that that community flipped the votes in Philadelphia.
Also, well, I'm pretty sure Trump increased his support. Like, he got more votes this time around, like percentage wise from that.
I think so too.
And also, what people don't look at is that Clinton received like financial support from like Iran and Iraq, and like I'm not sure the specific countries, but countries where it's outlawed and you can be killed for it. People don't understand
that's not the only place she got money from.
No, but I'm saying like people where you can get like killed for being LGBTQ. She's received support from those countries.
Oh yeah.
Which people don't understand.
People don't want to think about it, and the media like does a really good job at like
picking the things they want to talk about.
Yeah. It's all a facade. It's all how you package it. And it's sad. It's really, really sad that the public, and we're talking smart people, believing in these things, you know?
Did you see the thing after the last debate where everyone was saying, like, Trump's so stupid. He was saying coyotes bring kids over the border. And we're thinking they're like, how can a coyote carry a human?
Oh.
Like, people, like, actual blue check marks on Twitter were saying that. Like, verified users.
It makes no sense. Like, are you that ignorant that you don't know what a coyote is?
Like, I think that I was thinking to myself, like, that was such a big, immigration was such a big point of the 2016 election. Like, I figure like they would have heard that term before now.
No, you'd be surprised of the naivete.
It's
very mind-boggling.
That's why I have a love-hate relationship with politics. It's so crazy. And it's like better than a TV drama, but then all of a sudden it just gets so messy.
It's real too, you know.
It's also, it reminds you of like, oh my God, this is my life.
But Lindsay,
this is the real world.
You're gonna experience this more and more. Like,
I know.
You're no longer, because you're no longer an average Joe Blow. Like, you're one of the, especially once you go to veterinary school and you become a doctor, you're now one of the professionals and you're in the top tier of the American intellectual population. And you'll see that there are people out there that you're just like, oh my God. And, you know, like in high school, we used to see kids, middle school, high school, even elementary school, we used to see, you know, like when we're young, like we see boys that are really, really dumb and you're just looking at them, you're like, oh my God, why are you to me? But this is on a larger scale. Once you become a doctor, you're going to start seeing that. It's unfortunate. And that's one of the reasons as providers, we have to become educators.
It's just, it's so funny. I think a lot of people, they go to college and they end up, their political views end up switching and leaning more liberal. I feel like most college kids, and then that's totally been the opposite.
Yeah.
For me.
I mean, I went to Smith College. I don't know if you know, but.
Oh yeah.
It's a small liberal arts, all women's, and a whole bunch of first ladies graduated from my school. So, like Barbara Bush, you know.
My other best friend, who her mom went to Smith.
Yeah. So Smith has a bubble. So as much as our school has a bubble where it looks like we're all liberal, there's a very hardcore, like, Republican side to us as well, because we all come from like especially the girls that go to our school that are old money, they all come from the deep red state, like families. And you look at them and you're like, they are in a whole different world.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, they are like, those families are our leaders. They are all like deep in the politics, and you look at that and you see a whole different side, and it's not what the media portrays it to be and wants you to believe.
Yeah. No, yeah.
And I'm sure you being in Virginia, you see that firsthand.
It's especially Richmond. It's just a weird place.
Yeah.
Like the city, it's very, it's like, especially because it's like we had the whole Confederate statue thing.
Oh, that's right.
So it's like
Lives matter too.
I haven't been downtown in a hot second.
Good.
So it's just like the only statue left is Robert E. Lee.
But that's another thing. This is history. You know.
Yeah, I just like I've always had the. Yeah, I've always had the belief like it needs to be put into context. It should be like it's like no one's there. I feel like there's a very small percentage of the population that still glorifies it, and they should be totally.
It's a negligible number of population.
The average, I think the average Americans like believes that they need to be put in context. Like also like I feel like Robert E. Lee is just a different, like not like the normal statues, because he was approached by Lincoln to be a general first. Yeah. Like he didn't want to abandon Virginia.
Yeah.
When Virginia seceded. So it's more complicated. It's not cut and dry like people make it out to be.
It's not. And people's lack of education ends up destroying history. It's sad.
I took a course my freshman year, and we talked about the statues in it, and I was saying, as someone from Virginia, I think my like opinion was that we should like put like informational things with like the Confederate statues and like make them historical so we can learn from it and not repeat history, because I don't want to like erase it, we'll forget about it and repeat it.
Exactly.
And like put more statues up to like update history and what's been happening since the Civil War. Like we have the Arthur Ashe statue on Monument Avenue too. I could see the Jefferson Davis one being taken down, like the president of the Confederacy. I could see that one being taken down, the Jeff Davis statue. And then like we had like Whispers of War put up at the art museum.
I'm just surprised that Virginia flipped blue.
It's been blue for years.
Oh, because
I wasn't surprised.
So close to Washington, I forgot.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, they added this statue recently from New York. Rumors of War. Out by the art museum. And yeah, I just think like adding statues to like dilute it, not just have history be like Monument Avenue. Just you don't want to like think about just the Confederate statues, but they're all. Yeah. It's like it's an ugly history, and like my dad's side of the family is from up north, and my mom's side, they're all poor rednecks basically, and like it's ugly history, but it's like
it's history.
It's half my family's they've lived in Virginia for generations, but it's ugly history. But I don't want to. As soon as you erase it, you forget about it.
Yeah, exactly. But
and it's not good. I'll be the first to admit it's not good history.
But it's not like you can't pick and choose history.
No, yeah.
I don't know. It is what it is. All right, so are we done with these? Do you need hybridization?
That's just saying it's like as like the this is S. This would just be SP.
What's SP?
Yeah.
This is SP2.
Mm-hmm.
SP3. D1, right?
Yeah.
That's SP3, SP2, SP3, D1. I think bond angle and molecular shape, you can get it from your chart.
This chart.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just draw out that chart like a couple times until you memorize it.
We can use our notes.
Oh, you
so
can?
I'll be able to. Yeah, I'll be able to use this.
Oh, okay, that's nice. That's nice.
So he's making it open note, open book, just not open internet. So I'll just print it out beforehand.
Okay.
And apparently, he said there's like 30 people in our class, and apparently, one of the students was telling the lab professor, he's like, yeah, Dr. Leopold, he makes the test super hard and doesn't let us use our notes or our books. And he's like, I've told everybody before each test that they can use their notes and their books, just not the internet. And he's like, it's been written on the test, and apparently this one kid hasn't been using his notes on the past 2 tests.
Oops.
I was like, oh my god. And he was like tattling about it, like basically talking trash about it to the lab professor, and the lab professor asked our Dr. Leopold, the professor for this class, about it. And he was like, no, they can use their notes.
Oh,
I was just like, oh my god. Because he like makes it a little tricky just so it's not like a walk in the park with the notes.
Yeah.
But
of course, because it's a take home.
Yeah. So we have to print it. Well, we can print it and then scan it. So I have the answer key right here.
Okay. I think our numbers are correct. Wait, they got 10 hours? Oh, they got 31 hours.
Yeah. I just wanted to check like this main problem because this is where all the. I feel like this number 4 was tricky.
Mm. Oh yeah, hold on a second. Go back up. Okay, to this graph.
Yeah.
So I forgot to tell you this. This, do you see that part?
Yes.
This. That needs to
determining
be
step.
higher. Yeah, this needs to be higher than this one.
More energy goes into that first step than the second one.
No, because this was the slow step and this was the fast step.
Okay.
So the slow step is going to have a higher activation energy.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. And then this reactant and products, you know that because that's exothermic, right? If it's endothermic, it would be flipped, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then is here and products is up there. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So wait, how would I know that it would be exothermic?
They tell you.
Okay.
Yeah, they told you on this quiz, on this practice, on this problem, they told you this was exothermic or endothermic.
Okay. And then
okay.
funny thing is tests are not like this format.
Oh,
He makes his practice test different than his tests. Well,
okay. Do you have any other questions you want to ask
no,
me?
I feel pretty good about this test. So.
Okay, that's good. So let's try to get an A on this.
Yeah, that's the goal.
That's the goal. Just try to do these without notes.
Yeah.
So that you're able to recognize the questions right away.
Mm-hmm.
And make sure you have your integrated rate law equations printed out.
Yeah.
Yeah. That way, and with the graphs. That way you're able to identify it really quickly.
Okay.
Have a formula sheet.
Okay.
Yeah. I think you're gonna be okay.
Yeah, I feel pretty good about it. We have a review session with a class tomorrow night for last minute questions. So
I think you're gonna be fine. All right, Lindsay.
Thank you for meeting with me. I know.
Of course.
Chemistry on a Saturday afternoon isn't exactly.
No, you're fine. So, do you still need me on Thursday, or are you?
I'll text you.
Okay.
I might I'll text you about it after the test. I'm not sure how much new material we're gonna have covered.
Only thing is, because Thursday I'm flying back home, so I may not be able to do class on Thursday this week. But yeah, just let me know in advance, like a couple days in advance, and I'll let you know if I can do it.
Okay, probably this weekend, just so I can have like 2 classes in.
Okay.
Like 2 classes of new information
on Saturday,
as opposed to 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good.
If that's okay.
Yeah. Sounds good. All right. I'll see you next week. Bye.
Okay.
Good luck on your
Thank you. Thank you.